If you've been tuning in to listen, thank you. I truly appreciate it. All right, here is Bloodlines, Chupacabra, Chapter 6, Part 2, The Descent. Just a minute before you say anything. There is a small town, just a few folks, more like a tiny depot on the other side of the mountain. I'd like to show you. Are you willing? Sandra was hesitant. Don't see what choice I have. I don't know whether it's my guilty conscience, or just Larry's insistence, that propelled me to be serious. Though I'm bending on guilt, I just can't let it go. My apologies for interrupting you, Sandra. Didn't mean to yell at you, says Cal. I am just frustrated as hell, you know. But sorry, and please, go on, Father. The priest takes a moment to collect his thoughts. He knows the weary travelers are quite anxious and sleep-deprived. He takes no offense to the interruption from Cal. Much obliged, Mr. Newitt. I can tell you, this town isn't like any ordinary town. Do either of you know about Centralia and the eternal burning coal fires in Pennsylvania? As Father Flannegan stands before them, Sandra's eyes shift to the Bible he's been clutching in his left hand, partially guarded beneath his arm, held close. She has a sudden flashback, but not wanting to show a reaction, she bites her lower lip, trying so hard to hold back her emotions. Father Flannegan notices her, and is well aware of her unease. Well, this town is basically like that, he sighs. Run down, few residents, and they aren't too keen on visitors, or being too friendly, Cal replied. Yeah, actually I have, only because I am somewhat of a documentary buff. Just happened to be up late watching. Very interesting place, really. Father Flannegan smiled. Well, there you go, folks, that's what it is then. He turns to Sandra. You could tell he was eager, ready to ask a million questions, but he hesitated, remembering to be cautious and delicate. He could tell she was shaken and unnerved by her experience. Father Flannegan's gaze meets her eyes. He can see the dark circles and knows that she has been witness to the beast. Sandra, please, if you could, why are you feeling so much guilt? You barely knew Miss Gray, and how does it actually affect you? He looked straight into her eyes. She could feel them almost burn into her brain. It was too intense. She felt interrogated. Larry had explained to Father Flannegan how she had admitted to seeing it, just before retiring that evening. Sandra had tears welling up as she kept biting into her lip with such force she could taste the blood. She didn't care. The pain was a distraction. She really hated being under the microscope, and this man was far too invasive about her feelings, more than she felt a priest should be. It was clearly making her feel awkward, as well as uncomfortable. She sighed deeply, knowing she'd have to answer him, sooner or later. The priest knows she's been marked, but he knew better than to tell her his exact thoughts. He'd save that for later. I would like to know the exact emotions, so as to understand why you are having these nightmares, he said. Sandra closed her eyes, then blinked twice, as tears started to roll down her cheek. I think that it targeted me, because I saw it. As her breathing became heavier, she managed to tell him exactly how she was feeling, and how everything had gone to pieces after she'd returned home. Cal handed Sandra a tissue to wipe her tears, as they streamed down her face, dropping onto the pavement. She spoke so softly, you could barely hear her. I can't stop having nightmares about those red eyes, and even in my dreams, it comes to me as an ominous black cloud, those goddamn red eyes, following me even while I'm awake. I see things in the corner of my eye, just to turn around, and be alone. Nothing there at all. The priest was stoic, searching her face for hidden answers. He had to be sure she was telling him everything. I see, emotions high, and you were definitely marked, my dear. I am sorry, Ms. McCoy. It seems it has attached its aura onto you, because you witnessed its hunt on Miss Gray. Anytime this animal is interrupted, it will target a person, and haunt them relentlessly, until that person either goes crazy, or dies. Well, that's just not great now, is it? And just how am I supposed to feel about that? She replied with fury. She was pissed off, and had every right to be. Sandra couldn't help but feel attacked. She thought, this is how Laura must have felt. Though she hadn't meant to be a bully, and she shouldn't have drunk so much, that didn't mean this priest could make her feel this way. She'd had enough. With the emotions she felt, and the blood on her lips visible, with nowhere to run and hide, she had flown there. It was too late to turn back. Shaking, and a bit breathless, she wiped away tears brought up by the emotions. And that's exactly what Father Flannegan had expected. She was drained, and exhausted by the beast. But she was also the secret weapon they needed. She was so enraged at the priest, hoping he'd just back off, She'd been sleepless for months, and the fact that he hounded her just made her feel like punching a wall. How could anyone go through what our weary travelers suffered, these brave souls, and feel nothing other than fear? This thing had followed them relentlessly, and now it was do or die. Was Larry correct in his assumptions? Could he really end this nightmare for all? Or was this just an old man's wishful thinking? He had so much more he wished to express, but held back, in fear. And Bloodlines, Chapter 6, Part 2, The Descent.